What's up? What's up? It's your boy Mike Muse, and you ain't never met a woman quite like Shoshana Bean. Edit that. 2-time Grammy, Tony nominated Shoshana Bean. Edit that. The incredible vocalist, vocal talent, Shoshana Bean. Edit that. And just a good-ass, dope human being who is my friend, Shoshana Bean. What's happening, friend?
Thank you, pal. This is so special.
Very special.
I can't believe it's finally happening.
One, you look fantastic.
Thank you. You too, baby.
The fit is fitting, as they say.
Thank you.
Prada yada yada.
Edit that.
Edit that.
I don't even know what that means, but I'm obsessed.
Yeah, it's just good, I think.
Okay.
Yeah. I've always wanted that Prada tie. Ladies and gentlemen, when you get done listening to this at your job, in the gym, in your car, hit to my YouTube page, I am Mike Muse, to see this dope necktie that Shoshana Bean has.
I tied it myself.
No way.
I looked it up on YouTube today, how to tie a tie, because I haven't tied one since probably high school.
Yeah.
But I looked it up. I think I did
You
okay.
did a great job.
Thank
You did more than just
Cute
okay.
4-second tutorial.
Oh, yeah,
That.
it's good. So you can bring your mic down. We need to see your beautiful face a little bit. There you go. Don't hide that face.
I don't
hide
know
that
how to
smile.
use microphones. Thank you.
Yeah, that's fine. When you have never had a woman like you don't touch your own microphones.
That's right.
Yeah. There's no need. You are in your season.
Oh, baby, thank you.
I am so proud of you.
Thanks,
and
pal.
seeing your evolution.
Thank you.
When I met you, you were already a thing and big, but it's just always great to see your friends continuing to soar and to live out your dreams.
Thanks,
are you in
baby.
your pinch me moment right now?
You know, I yesterday was like a really big day, and I kept thinking, like, should I be pinching? It's a weird thing when you've had these sort of dreams and goals for a really long time, and you've actually like taken every incremental step to get, and then when you're in these sort of what I call like mountaintop moments, where you're sort of looking around and surveying the view, it doesn't feel as crazy as I would think it would. I'm like, yeah, this feels right. This feels good. And it's such a strange phenomenon. It happens every time where I'm like, this should feel crazy. And it just feels like, nice.
Yeah.
Good. And what's next?
Well, what's next? She's here to promote the new Broadway musical that she is in, The Lost Boys, amongst other things I'm going to talk to her about. But I'm just curious, since you're here, you had like a big moment for you yesterday. Do you feel it when you're going to rehearsals, right? Like you get the chance to do this?
Yeah. I think that with this show in particular, because I've been doing this for so long and I've been a part of so many new shows, something feels really different about this one. And I think, with each experience, you carry your lessons from the previous one. And so I'm walking in every day just really present and really grateful. And from the top down, this show is so special. And the chemistry of the people involved on stage and off is so unique. So yes, I am, in terms of pinching myself, in regards to The Lost Boys, I am daily kind of like, I can't believe that all these years later, I still get to be a part of like this kind of magic. It's such an impossible thing to make a Broadway musical. Yeah. And anyone who gets this far and is doing it at this massive of a level like The Lost Boys is it's really crazy.
I mean, this is what people come to New York City for.
Yeah.
Right? There's certain things that people come to New York City for. Like, obviously you can come and work at a law firm, right?
Sure.
But if you don't get into the top 5 law firms, there literally is like a gazillion law firms in New York City, and everybody comes to New York City to work on Wall Street. And if you don't get into the top 5 investment banking firms, there is literally 30,000 private equity firms in New York City that you can work for. But there's just something about so many kids are moving right now as we speak. They're getting off a bus, getting off a car, flying into LaGuardia right now with just a bag and a dream and maybe $1,000 if they're lucky. If they're lucky, and I say that generously, with a dream to go on to work on a 4-block radius that is Broadway, because audience, you haven't been to New York City, it's only 4 blocks. And there's only a finite number of Broadway production theaters in the city that you can work at.
That's right.
And so to be able to get the job to still be able to do that has to be an incredible, thrilling feeling.
It is. And I think like you never know how, aging in the business is one thing, right? But you just never know what shows are going to be the right fit for you. So you can be extraordinarily talented. You can be tenacious. You can be persistent and resilient. You can have all of the qualities that you would think make up the formula for success. But if there isn't a show or an opportunity that's the right fit for you, you don't get those opportunities, and it's not personal ever. So every time I get an opportunity, it's a miracle.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's really special.
For those who are not pursuing Broadway, there's some who are just maybe thinking about going for that new promotion at their job, right? Maybe transitioning careers in their new job, and they've been told no, right? Media and entertainment is an awful business that always checks your ego on a consistent basis, present company included with myself, right? Like,
Heard.
How do you keep finding the joy to keep putting yourself out there to try and go for opportunities? I do believe that's a transferable moment.
Agreed. I think with anybody, I think if it's the thing that you love the most, if it's the thing you're the most passionate about, what sort of purpose transcends ego, purpose transcends exhaustion, purpose transcends no's and yeses. If you're in your purpose, and it was said to me at a very young age, and I remember not liking that it was said to me, but I say it now, which is, if you can think of anything else that you want to do or you think you could do, if you have a plan B, you got to go do that thing, because I never had a plan B. And I think people who can face, rejection or can get up every day and try again are the people who just don't have another option.
Yeah.
So, I don't know that it is unique to being in the entertainment industry. I think it's with anything. It's just like your why has to be the strongest motivating factor. And I think that's it.
You seem in a very reflective mood today.
Am I?
Yeah.
Oh,
You seem very reflective.
I just think it's a really cool moment.
I love
this show and the album and all these cool opportunities. I'm just like I feel very seated and grateful, I guess.
As an artist, do you feel open? Do you feel like your energy gate is open?
Yes. I think that the goal is always to strive to be more and more open and less protected and less guarded and less resistant, which is a daily practice. But yes, I think that I feel the most open when I feel the most safe. And I feel really surrounded right now by incredible artists and like-minded people and people who make me feel like safe to take big swings and maybe miss. And and that's unique too, to be in the company of people who have you.
I'm thinking about your album right now that came out in November, and it stays on repeat.
Hey, that makes me happy.
Yeah,
Thanks,
and I
pal.
think there's something that you're talking about right now. When I listen to your album, I think about vulnerability, right, and authenticity. And there is a song, Make Me a Mistake, which is the third one, Jonah, that I have pulled up for you. If you could just play that just a little bit. Audience, let's listen to just a few seconds of Make Me a Mistake by Shoshana Bean. Talk to me about that song, Make Me a Mistake. I just feel that's such a vulnerable song.
Yeah, that's a deep cut, pal. No one ever really points out that song, but it is wildly personal and really was the last song that I wrote for the album. It just felt like I gotta sum up this season that the entire album was written about, and I think it makes me a little emotional because it's like I can't believe that I'm the same person. Like I'm on the other side of all of that. So to hear it is like, it's wild. How do I answer that question? It just summed up some decisions and some experiences that I can say for certain I will never repeat. I won't make those same decisions again. I won't find myself in those same situations again. But I think that we do ourselves a disservice with regret. I think we do ourselves a disservice with trying to disown parts of ourselves. So this was my attempt at embracing who I was, what I chose, who I was involved with, what that did, how that reverberated, the effects it had on other people, and just sort of like acknowledging, forgiving it, and letting it go so that I could move forward into continuing to become. And I think we don't we don't give ourselves enough grace for being human and bucking up. And I think that we carry more shame sort of like innately from a very early age than we acknowledge, for just being who we are. A lot of us, women especially, we're just sort of bred with shame. Yeah. And I'm just like done with that. And I want to empower other people to sort of like look at it in its face and kiss it goodbye, I think
you gave people permission to do just that. And that's what I gathered from that song is we all want to be valued, even in our mistakes. Yeah. When we mess up and we make an error or we were with something that we shouldn't have been or did, you still want to be made whole. And I think no one wants them made to believe that they were a mistake. Sure. And no matter what, you always want to think you're seasoned as purposed. And that's why I love when you said, make me a villain, make me the hero, but whatever you do, do not make me the mistake, because I was valid and whole in that moment. That's right. Even if it was chaotic unto itself.
Say that, friend. Woo!
Right?
Yes.
We don't give ourselves permission to feel that.
No.
And even to let go of the shame. So many people walk around with like shame of the mistake.
That's right.
You still want to be seen.
That's right.
That's why I think it was so powerful.
Oh, I love that. Thank you.
No, you're welcome. Was the writing process for you challenging for this album? Because you're leaning in heavy to who you are in your constitution.
Yeah, no. That was probably the easiest part. Because I was put in rooms with some of the best songwriters, definitely in Nashville and arguably in the entire songwriting community. And because I was very clear from the beginning that the storytelling and the honesty and the vulnerability was paramount. That was the most important thing. How it sounded, what genre we moved into, how we produced it, that was secondary. Yeah. I wanted to tell the truth. I wanted it to feel visceral and vulnerable and like a little bit like, should we be hearing some of these? Yeah. Should we be like a little, like it should feel like voyeuristic. Yeah. Because I think what is the good of me going through what I went through if I can't tell the truth about it and maybe, to your point, empower somebody else? Yeah.
Well, there's truth. Since you mentioned truth, I want to know, are you a hard woman to love? So let's just hear this right now and get to the truth of Shoshana Bean. I mean, talk to me about that one. You're talking a lot of shit, Shoshana, on this album. You're taking us to the voyeurism, as you said.
Listen,
quite not like you. That's a flex. I'm a hard woman to love. Easy with me, right? And whatever you do, don't make me a mistake, my friend.
Please do not. I think when I wrote the song, that was my two middle fingers in the air of like, okay. I think we often are like, well, if you didn't stick around or you weren't willing to sort of like, do what you needed to do to stay here, then I must be the problem, right? So yes, I think when we wrote it, I was like, if you couldn't, then I guess I'm the broken one. And I think what I learned in the process of recording it, releasing it, trying to tell the story about it and share it and connect with people about it was like, again, we have been made to feel, women a lot have been made to feel like I mean, if I had $1 for every time I've been told, and then I'm surrounded by these young kids in Lost Boys, and I've already had conversations where they're like, well, I feel like I'm too much. Well, who told you that? Well, guys I've dated. And I think what I've come to realize is like, we were never too much. You weren't enough. Ooh. So if me having standards, if me having a voice, if me being strong and having boundaries, if me not being willing to sort of concede, not in terms of wanting to be difficult or combative, but like me not being willing to sacrifice my own self for your comfort and your happiness makes me hard to love, then fuck yes, I am the hardest woman to love. Yes. I'm done twisting myself inside out to please other people. And so Yeah, it's kind of like now it's sort of become like, I'll be hard. If that's what hard is, yes, I'm impossible.
Well, I think you did it because you have a young lady here, Joda, who's like nodding her head in agreement to exactly
like
what that moment is.
Like if that's what's hard, sure.
Yeah.
I'm the hardest. I think we should. I think what I ended up with was like, may we all be harder to love, and not testing people, and not in terms of like being difficult for the sake of, and it's not a combative thing. It's like what we give from our hearts to our minds to our bodies to that is sacred. And people who get that must be vetted. I should have vetted people harder. It should have been harder. Yes. It should have been harder to love me.
Yeah. And I love the idea that you flipped it and said you didn't love enough. I need to play that back again. You didn't love enough. And I think we never do that because we're always willing to compromise what it is that we want for somebody who's not giving it enough of what they can give.
Why though?
Right.
That's on us and our self-worth. And that, at least for me, ended,
That's not easy to do.
No, but you do enough dumb shit that I've done and you get there.
Yeah. I've been thinking about how that's not easy to do. I always talk about this idea, even in friendships, but we can make a platonic audience if you're not in a relationship, right? But like, I know I'm a level 10 in friendship, right? I'm a level 10 in business. My team would tell you. I'm a level of 10. I want
She's like, it's a 12.
Yeah. I want excellence all the time. And I recognize that.
Yeah.
And if I know you can't give me a 10, I'm fine with that because I know I'm a 10. But if I know that your max is a 7, you better give me a 7 every time, right? Don't show up and give me a 5. That's what I was about to get to just now, right? Like, I know you're a 7. You can't match my 10, right? That's because I think my 10 is a little bit impossible for a lot of people to match the 10. And so if I recognize that what your 10 is your 7, but for me that's a 7, just show up in that, right? Don't give me your 5, and I get frustrated. But I think even in listening to you right now, have I been allowing that permission for individuals to give me the 7? Therefore, I'm constantly in a state of disappointment, constantly like in a state of like frustration, and also too not being made whole, right?
Wow.
Feeling like a mistake.
I totally can relate. And I think the sad truth is there's not a ton of 10s. There just are, it's rarefied air, my friend. So I think it can be lonely sometimes, and it can make you feel like you got to do it all alone. So I totally get that. But I have learned that when you give it to yourself first, you will then attract. It has to come, like you were like, to be made whole.
Yeah.
I have learned in very recent times that it's got to come from here. It cannot come from the outside first. Yeah. Diminishing returns.
That's such a muscle that most of us are not used to exercising.
That's right.
Yeah.
And it's
scary.
muscle.
It's a muscle and it's scary.
100%.
Speaking of muscles, your vocal cord is a muscle.
You're like, and transition.
Yeah. How do you control that? Let me edit that. What we're just talking about right now is decisions and decision points that you've made to own your agency, to own your truth, you make the decision to give yourself grace. You made the decision to say, I'm not a mistake. But also, too, I think when your type of vocal gift, you had to make a decision when to have constraint, when to put the guardrails on your voice. How do you know when to make those decisions? Because I've heard you on albums. I've seen you on Broadway stages. But I've also seen you in concert stages. I'm thinking about Carnegie Hall, right? And you always know how to decide, seemingly, like when to throw your voice, when to do a run. It's so controlled and well disciplined.
Oh, thank you. I think many would argue that I don't control it as much as I could or should. I think where I've come to is storytelling is paramount. So it depends on the story I'm telling and what that warrants. And then the majority of it is just like, if I may, just being a channel and just spirit moving. If I get out of the way, I don't really have a say in what moves through me. And that isn't all the time. I'm often in the way with my head and listening to myself and, feeling what the audience or what I think the audience is feeling and navigating that and overcompensating because I feel like they're not with me. But in its finest, truest, purest form, I'm out of the way and it's just spirit moving and just letting it use me as it will. And I think my goal is always to keep my instrument as finely tuned as I can, to keep my technique up and keep it all just like a well-oiled machine so it can be used in a way where I don't have to think, if that makes sense.
For those of you who may not have the gift of voice like myself, there's other things that we're known for, whether you're known for cooking a good dish, cooking a good Sunday dinner, like making a good pot roast, for example. That's such a random example. I don't even eat pot roast, but let's keep going with pot roast since I landed on that. Amen. If you're known for making a pot roast every Sunday when people come to your home, they want a good pot roast. And if it is too juicy, they're going to make a comment about it. If it's undercooked, they're going to make a comment of it. Too dry, they're going to make a comment on it. And so there's about this level of hitting expectations. I feel like for you, there is this level of expectations to hit it. Are you ever concerned that you're not going to hit that note?
Every day in rehearsal for Lost Boys, I've been feeling this thing. And I was talking to my co-star about it because, you know, he was saying like, oh, I noticed you got in your head when we were doing the song. And like, you know, because we were being playful and he thought that sort of got in my way. And I was like, no, I'm aware of where I'm at in my life and career. And I'm aware, I have this idea, this pressure of what these children in this room sort of expect to come out of my mouth. And I have found myself a little bit preoccupied by what that looks like, sounds like, how that occurs to them. And I'm very aware that I'm now the elder in the room and that I'm leading by example, not just how I behave and how I treat people and how I show up to the work, but like also like they think I'm Shoshana Bean whose instrument does this thing. And it's not like that every day. I'm human. I'm fallible. I'm not a machine or a robot. And so that's been really interesting for my ego to navigate. Like, you know, oh God, they're listening. Oh God, you know. So yes, I do feel like there is a weird expectation based on who I've been before and what I've done before that I would approach things a certain way or sound a certain way. And it's a battle with it's me against me in that.
Well, understand that I'm going to be thinking that in the audience when I see the Lost Boys, because things I didn't imagine with Shoshana Bean in a vampire musical. That is a horror comedy drama, right? And so I am dying to know like how your voice responds from the incredible music written by like the Rescues, right? The music is just, I can only imagine how phenomenal the music is, but how you talked about storytelling. How do you think about your voice in this ecosystem of vampires, a cult classic movie of the Lost Boys done by the Rescues? Like, what does Shoshana Bean do with that? What story are you telling?
The score is arguably like, and I may get in trouble for saying this, arguably like the star of this show. The score creates an entire world. And the music that I get to sing is certainly a huge part of why I said yes. I mean, the score is exquisite and the stories I get to tell. It's not just the singing part. It is lyrically the storytelling. I'm so moved by the music that I'm lucky enough to sing in this show. I am one of the characters that doesn't realize she's in a vampire music. Like, I don't live inside of the world of the vampires. So I'm blissfully unaware in a way of what's going on around me. And I do have to say that while it is a cult classic film and people know it for being about vampires, and there are vampires in the show, I think what's exciting is that people may come thinking they're seeing a vampire show and they're really going to leave with something else entirely. It's got a beautiful themes and beautiful heart. And I feel like I'm lucky enough to get to be sort of at the epicenter of the heart of this show.
Is that a plot twist?
Themes.
You just gave us a plot twist.
Is it a plot twist? Maybe. It's not like the movie. Yeah. I will say that. I will say that, like, what you want to come see that you think is part of the movie, you're getting like 80s deliciousness, you're getting vampires, you're getting flying vampires.
Yeah.
I keep looking at him to make sure I'm allowed to say the things I'm saying. But I think what you aren't prepared for is the heart of it. The family, the belonging, the idea of time and mistakes, and do we get do-overs? And if you live forever, can you make up for the things you've done or experienced? And yeah, how do we start over? How do we start fresh and new and to the point of shame? How do we release ourselves from our mistakes? And is it ever too late?
There's something about a season that we're in. I know I'm not going to keep you. I know I can talk to you all day.
I'll stay here all
I know
day.
your team member is like, okay, wrap
He's
this
fine.
up.
I got nowhere to be.
I think we're an interesting season of really looking at things now from a very nuanced perspective. I think there's a time in the 80s, 90s, 2000, heck, all the way up to maybe 4 years ago, we looked at things very binary, like ones and zeros, and we got lost in the gray. But I think there's something so powerful about storytelling in the season that we're in, where the season is about the gray and the season about the nuance. And what made me think about it just now is just the movie that's nominated for an Oscar is Frankenstein, right? Like Frankenstein is not what you thought. I remember me and my mom watched over the holidays, and so she was like, oh, I want to watch this gory, scary thing. I was like, I don't think it's that. And we watched it, and I was like, wow, this is an incredible story about, again, not wanting to be a mistake, right? And it's redemption. And it's seemingly what you just mentioned, that you can come thinking about vampires and sucking of blood, but is that really what vampires are? Right?
Ooh, that's a whole other episode, right? Mike Muse.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, this show is about family.
Because it's family and like longing. There's something when you said about living forever. If you live forever, how would you live your life? Do-overs every single time.
Exactly. What is the point of living forever? Also, like, yeah, it's been really interesting to listen to the conversations about vampires and the sort of legend around them, and I'm kind of like, oh, we deal with vampires on a daily basis. We deal with people sucking our energy and, you know, wanting to. I mean, if anyone in this room has ever dated a narcissist,
yes.
you know, just say you've been with a vampire.
Everybody raise his hand.
Yeah. Like it's really interesting when I'm like, when they talk about vampires, I'm like, oh, you're talking about a narcissist. Oh, no, I can relate. Yeah, I know this person.
Yeah.
So it's.
And even like how things like vampires now, I have a buddy of mine, Alex, and I was texting him right before I knew I was going to interview you. Like, he enjoys going to New Orleans and looking into the spiritual dynamics of like vampires and movements. And
really?
Yeah, there's an interesting world out there of like those who are exploring.
Voodoo and stuff?
Yeah, different types of religions, right? Like hoodoo, which is in Sinners, which I had the cast, and we leaned into that, right? Like leaning into vampires and voodoo, and just, there's this interesting, I think, shift. I wouldn't say a complete pivot, but just a shift where people are looking to being, academic is the wrong word, but like studying and examining other spiritualities and other realms. And it's no longer this taboo thing that used to be for them, the crazies in the corner. But now I think there's a curiosity in society about these things.
Yeah, to your point about things not being so black and white anymore, and having some room and grace.
So I think the Lost Boys is going to, in my mind, fits into this new category of like the gray.
Amen.
Right?
Yes. Being
led by your vocal tool that's going to help moderate with this phenomenal cast of singers.
There are some insane voices in this cast. I'm the least of which. Truly.
I love you for saying that, Shoshana.
It's true. The kid who plays my son is magic. He's the lead kid of the show. He's just...
Without giving anything away, I know it's about family, but what is it that you want the audience, as we wrap, what is it you want the audience to walk away with when they come see this show?
Well, I have two perspectives. One is, as you know, a longtime member of this Broadway community, I want us to believe in musicals again. I don't know. I want us to believe in magic and the size and scope. I want us to believe that Broadway can be viable again and healthy and economically sustainable and successful. And I think this show, the size of it, paired with like the heart of it is maybe that lightning in a bottle. So I want that for just Broadway at large, our whole community. As the mother of the show, I can only speak from sort of my perspective, and the past few shows I've done, I have sort of been speaking for the mothers of the world. Yeah. But I think there's something really special about my character and this moment she finds herself in, which is just like, I'm more than just a mom. I'm more like, where did I lose myself? So I love how you keep taking what we're talking about and the specificity of that and applying that to people who, whatever they do and whatever their passion is. And I think that, I think there's something so beautiful about her being like, I'm not done yet. Just because I'm a mom and just because I made some mistakes, I want to reclaim, like, you know, who I thought I was going to be and the fire inside of me. And I want to be able to be granted another chance.
Wow.
And I feel like, how many times in our lives have we had those moments where we're like, I'm not done.
I'm not done.
Let me reinvent. Let me rejuvenate. Let me redefine.
Yo, there's so many moms listening to us right now. I get it all the time from my listeners who have that existential thought. Like, I'm more than just a mom. And I think about some moms I'm in conversation with just in IRL, in real life, who are saying that, you know, they miss being back at work. Right. And I think that's a whole episode for another conversation on that. I don't want to lean too heavy into that. But there are moms who are going through this identity, I wouldn't call it crisis, but identity of who am I and am I more?
Of course.
Yeah.
And that's where this mama is. And so I know that I can only represent the mamas in this instance. And
Shoshana Bean, it has been a true delight and joy to be in conversation with you today.
Dave, the pleasure's mine, my friend.
It's so incredible.
This is crazy.
This is crazy. This is a real friend. We've known each other for a very long time. Like in real life, I get the chance to hear her voice. Just sometimes playing in living rooms with a piano, in private homes in Palm Springs. Oh yeah. Right. So, audience, please make sure you go check her out on The Lost Boys when you're here for your summer breaks, your spring breaks. Yes. You would not seemingly be disappointed. I'm going to let you know my review of what the Shoshana Bean's voice sound like in this vampire ecosystem that isn't a vampire ecosystem. I don't know. We'll find out together. You let us know. But until next time, folks, peace.